Hello everybody, Dante here. Welcome to this video in which I want to talk a little bit about the energy of this full moon that's taking place on August 30th around 6:50 p.m. Pacific time. You'll have to adjust to your local time zone. I want to talk about this from the perspective of Vedic and a bit from Western astrology, bringing out the qualities that I find to be most important through honing in with my own intuition on this moon. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, thank you for supporting by liking, subscribing, and sharing. So this is a supermoon, and it is going to be the closest the moon will be for some time. I believe it's the closest the moon will be until sometime in 2025. So this will be a very potent energy. The moon is very close to the planet Saturn. And Saturn is a serious planet that is bringing a disciplined energy. It's a planet of constrictions and limitations. It's a planet of decay and aging. And it's a planet that brings sorrows. That doesn't all sound so nice, but the good news is that the darker qualities of Saturn will come out when Saturn is in a sign that it doesn't prefer, or there's heavier planets as well, other malefic planets influencing Saturn and the moon. And in this case, it's the moon and Saturn alone in Saturn's sign, according to sidereal astrology, of Aquarius. And according to the tropical zodiac, the moon is in Pisces. We'll talk about that tropical zodiac later. Now, the moon with a strong Saturn is inspiring us to be more disciplined and focused at this time. It's inspiring us to turn inward and to use this energy for focusing on longer-term goals. This is amplified by the moon being in a particular nakshatra, and the nakshatras are like the lunar signs. The 12 signs of the zodiac we know are related to the sun and the sun's 12 phases throughout the year. The moon's 27 signs are the 27.3 days from one full moon to the next full moon, or any cycle of the moon to the next cycle of the moon, for that matter. It takes 27 days. And it is in the sign called Shatabahisa. This sign is related to the god Varuna, and this is a sign of mysticism, of spirituality. This is a sign of healing as well. And it's the sign of connecting with the deep waters, as Varuna is the god of the sea, and it's also the god of the night. This is a nakshatra that is especially potent for healing. And this is also a nakshatra, as Varuna is a punisher, that is said to deliver our punishments. Or it can be a good day if there is a punishment in order in any way, that is shared. So there's some sort of a karmic energy with this nakshatra as well. Yet at the same time, it is one of the most potent days to bring healing. Those who are born under this nakshatra are said to be of a more mystical and introspective nature. One of the symbols of this nakshatra is an empty open circle. And this circle is symbolizing the void. It's symbolizing the unknown, or rather, not the unknown, but the infinite emptiness that is, in a sense, our higher spiritual nature. We come from the emptiness and we return onto the emptiness. And this nakshatra has a quality of contemplating that. We also kind of see that with the sea. When we look to the ocean and how big and how vast it really is, it gives us the sense of we're so small, and with that smallness comes a sense of emptiness. So this moon brings about some of those qualities, especially with the more introspective planet Saturn. So this is an incredible time to do healing rituals, to turn inward, to find that connection to the emptiness and rest in that emptiness. We are in a culture that is always trying to fill ourselves up with something external. And this is a powerful time to rest in that emptiness and find the peacefulness that is contained within it. Mercury is not very far from the Sun, in the same sign of either Leo or Virgo, depending on the sidereal or tropical zodiac. Mercury getting involved is bringing in a more mental energy and activating the mind, activating commerce and interest. Mercury is retrograde. I made a whole other video about that you might want to check out. We can't include everything in just one video. So Mercury is also in this grand trine, according to Western astrology, that looks at these aspects so much, to Uranus, who's with Jupiter, and to Pluto. These are outer planets of great transformation and great spirituality. Neptune is opposed to Mercury at this time. And when Neptune and Mercury are opposed, there is this spiritual energy moving towards the mind. Our minds are focused on spiritual pursuits and ideas, very much in alignment with that Shatabahisa nakshatra. Neptune is very much like the god Varuna, who is connected with Shatabisa nakshatra. So there's this sea quality coming through, again, another way. Neptune as the apex of that kite formation that's coming into play. And Neptune can bring in dreams and the spiritual aspiration, spiritual love, though Neptune also opens the possibility for delusions and illusions. And in connection with Pluto, Pluto, however, makes things real. Pluto is this deep depth, and Uranus and Jupiter are bringing in an unpredictable energy from Uranus, a sort of chaotic energy, whereas Jupiter is amplifying all of that. So this is all taking place at the time of this full moon as well. And a lot of these energies are longer term, though Mercury is exactly in the right place to be pointing towards Neptune and creating that kite formation at this time. So that's very interesting. There's also a in conjunction that's a 150-degree angle between Saturn and Mars, and you could say the moon and retrograde Venus at this time. And retrograde Venus is about to go direct in a couple of days. Venus has gone through her underworld journey and is preparing to exit, though we still have some time there. And this in conjunction is perhaps the moon pointing towards what lessons have we learned through this cycle as we prepare to move forward. There might be something that feels a bit triggering to the themes of our own experience with Venus retrograde that comes up, that awakens that desirous nature that is Venus, that feminine nature that is Venus, and kind of triggers it in a way as we start to move forward in the Venus cycle again. The in conjunction of Saturn and Mars can be as if there's a kind of frustrating stumbling block, that something awakens this frustration, as Mars is an angry planet that's about our will power, and Saturn is very disciplined and focused. When those two planets collide, sometimes it is a combination for an immense force. It's a force to be reckoned with. And so this might be frustrating, that Saturn-Moon combination, a little bit. Though this is ultimately a very spiritual moon, as it comes back to where that focus is going. Again, in the tropical zodiac, in that sign Pisces, this is the most spiritual of all the signs, so that's another indication that's connected with the planet Neptune, right? So back to the mystical, back to the nature of the waters and the night. And as you look upon this moon beneath the night sky, open yourself to ask, where do I need to hone in my focus in order to bring greater awakening into my life? What do I need to limit? As Saturn is about our limitations. If we want to have long-term goals, we have to limit things that are taking us away from reaching those goals, that are draining our energy. And Saturn is a planet of grief because Saturn is about those limitations. And oftentimes, either the universe will cut things out of our lives, or we will, and if the universe doesn't, then we can do it. And oftentimes, doing it before the universe forces those things to leave our lives is a much wiser option. Because when the universe has to make that decision for us, the universe can do it in much more harsh ways. Whereas when we recognize that we have choice, but we only have so much time, Saturn being the planet of time, we break ourselves out of making the choices that don't really serve our higher purpose, that don't, in this sense, help us to connect with that sort of empty, mystical nature that is our connection to the spirit and is the place where healing comes from. As all of our dis-ease comes from our attachments to our desires and comes from the muck that gets put in the mind. And returning onto that emptiness is often the most healing thing for us to do. In that emptiness we release, and we release the things that are not serving our path so that we can step into what we truly desire and what truly matters for us. Saturn makes us ask those questions. And there will be a serious quality to this moon. So I would encourage you that this isn't just a party moon. This isn't the full moon to go out dancing beneath the stars with your friends, unless those are friends that you can have deep and meaningful conversations with. This is a moon to spend in that mode of contemplation and around people who can go into that mode of contemplation with you. If they can't, then it might be a better time to be more withdrawn and enjoy that experience, as that will help you get the most out of this very potent supermoon. Thanks again for watching this video, and if you'd like to see how this applies to your chart and also have a natal reading of your own birth chart and how that is impacting your lives in these incredible times of so many retrograde planets and so much moving in 2023, then I'm available for readings, and you can check out my website, dantestarshine.com, with all of that information. Have a really brilliant, beautiful, and blessed day, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side in other videos and however we connect. Much love.